time now for Coming In Hot with Brent Wallace and former Ottawa Senator Jason York.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Coming In Hot. Brent Wallace alongside Graeme Nichols from the Hockey News. Graeme, nice to see you. It looks like you're now being able to use the pool. The rain may have stopped.
Yeah, thank God. Thank God. And the weather's changed. It's warmer than it was. Yeah, it's been really good. We're getting some use out of it, though. The kids will go in the pool regardless of how cold it is outside. So
yeah, kids don't care. Yeah,
no.
Fair enough. This show is always brought to you by Bet365. Double header show for everybody today, as Sam Gagner will join us shortly, as he's the new director of player development for the Ottawa Senators. We'll talk to him about that and, of course, his career, why he always liked to score against Ottawa. We're going to ask him about that as well. Also, Julian McKenzie will stop by later in the show. We'll chat some Sens with him. He also has a book coming out. We'll talk to him about that as well. So I don't want to waste too much time of chit-chat, but Yorkie yesterday asked me to hang his TV. He's like, "Hey, what are you doing?"
Yeah. Well, you know what, though? This is your own fault because you've offered to detail his car. So now he's just expecting favors to go above and beyond.
I'm like
hanging a TV is pretty easy, though.
Well, okay. So he sends me the picture of it, and it's this beautiful millwork cabinet.
Mm-hmm.
It says the TV fits exactly inside, so it has to be exactly. I'm like, nope, not. I'm not having our friendship and possible show come to an end because I didn't hang your TV properly.
Too much responsibility. Why doesn't he want to do it himself?
Well, because he's not at all handy.
He's not handy at all? Really?
Oh.
Okay.
Oh.
I thought it was maybe like his bad mitt was bothering him and he just didn't want to lift the TV, but okay. So he's not that handy. That's okay. All right.
No, he's not. Anyway. All right. So quickly, we'll get to Sam. Let's take care of some business. Of course, as always, this show brought to you by Charm Diamond Centers, proudly Canadian and operated since 1972 with more than 85 locations across the country through Charm and their sister brands. Get custom ring building delivered in less than 4 weeks. The Charm Masterpiece program. Don't forget, you don't have to pay till 2026 when you get approved for in-store financing. For more information, go to charmdiamondcenters.com. Chosen forever, Charm Diamond Centers.
Coming In Hot is brought to you by Club EG's City Match Play Championship. This Match Play Championship takes place in Ottawa, and it's for golfers of every skill level. There's a division for any skill, any age, and yes, males and females. Check out the details at citymatchplay.golf. Individual divisions, team divisions. There's no reason to not play in this great city championship since they cater to even those who shoot over 100. You will always compete against someone of similar skill. Check it out at citymatchplay.golf.
And, of course, Merkley Supply. Really one of the best there is, if you will. Over 125 years of expertise, century of passion, and the highest quality masonry supply. They're home to the largest boutique in Eastern Ontario. They deliver to Ottawa, Gatineau, Kingston, Ottawa Valley, and the surrounding areas. From Canada's Supreme Court to your home's front steps. No matter your project, Merkley is proud to set it in stone. If you're looking for stone, brick, landscaping, specialty building supplies, count on Merkley Supply. Go to merkleysupply.com or visit their showroom in Hintonburg. Merkley, mark every milestone. And they did a great job at Yorkie's house, I will say. He took me on a video tour yesterday.
Well, it looked good from the just the background that he had from outside his house when he was recording that for the first time. But yeah, it looked really, really sharp. So
showed me the putting green.
A putting green? Yeah. He's got like a Bryson DeChambeau thing going on in his backyard or what?
He doesn't have a bunker, but he does have a putting green. I'm just waiting for him to install the windmill.
A bunker would be next level.
Anyway, Stanley Cup finals are set, although we've got to wait 6 weeks for them to begin. I hate that. I hate the long layoff in between. Just not a big fan. Have you changed your mind? We'll get your picks on Monday. Have you changed your mind between Florida and Edmonton of who you might take to win the series?
Oh, it's tough, especially because the injury situation sucks. Like I feel bad for Edmonton losing Hyman, and then you got like Reinhart and some other guys on Florida have been missing some time lately as well. So it's tough, but it's great to see a rematch. I'm looking forward to it. I'm still kind of torn. It feels like it feels like a bit of a coin flip right now. But Edmonton looks like a wagon. They're just clicking on clicking, firing on all cylinders right now. So it's going to be a fun series.
Well, let's talk to a three-time former Edmonton Oiler. Get his thoughts on maybe the Stanley Cup final as well. Welcome to the show, the newly minted Director of Player Development for the Ottawa Senators, Sam Gagner.
The Sens Summer Series.
Hi guys,
Sam, nice
how's it
to
going?
see you. Good. How are you, sir?
Doing well. I like that little intro with the sunglasses.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Spend $1 million every time we build one of those.
Right.
But before we get to, did you play golf yesterday in the NHLPA at the Canadian Open? Was that you? How was it?
Yeah, I did. It was a lot of fun. I was playing with Ryan McLeod and the Nylander brothers, so really enjoyed it. It was a blast.
That's a solid group.
I think. Did you win?
Yeah, it was great.
What did you shoot?
It's up for debate. So it was Stableford. Yeah, it was a Stableford. 18 holes, and we won by 3 strokes. But then for some reason there was still a playoff, and we lost in the playoff. But so it's up for debate. But we played well. Ryan and I played really well.
Who was in the playoff against you?
So it was the top 3 teams in the playoff, and then Jamie Drysdale got a hole-in-one on his first swing of the day, so they allowed his team in the playoff too, even though his I don't know if the rest of the round went as well, but it was Odog, Jeff O'Neill, and Carlo Coliaco was a one group, and then we were playing against Willie and Alex Nylander all day, and they were the second group in, and then Jamie and Will Cooley and me and Ryan McLeod. So it was fun.
It was
Cool.
a good time.
Cool.
All right, Sam. Let's get to well, I guess what's it like to now be retired at 35, but have a new career as a director of player development?
Yeah, no, it's exciting. I feel like it's a great opportunity for myself to see the other side of things. Obviously, I loved playing. I still love playing. I don't know if that fire will ever go away. I'm sure it will in time, but I think it's something that I've wanted to get involved in, and I have a great relationship with Stevie Steos, and was presented an opportunity to kind of come on board, and yeah, I'm just looking forward to it.
You're a hockey lifer, is my guess. Would that be fair?
Yes, most likely. Yeah.
Like, did you think about taking any time off? Like, I'll take a year, I'll sit at the cottage, I'll golf.
Not really. I mean, I'm busy as is, kind of being involved in hockey. My sons play, and then I run a camp up in the summer in Muskoka for kids and for pros, and so I was going to be involved in it anyways, and I think I like to be busy, and I like to be involved in the game, and I think when this opportunity was presented to me, just felt like a great fit, great group of people, and I'm looking forward to seeing how the role evolves and how I operate within it, and just learning on the job. So it's been fun so far, and looking to continue to grow.
Sam, when I talked to you last, I guess it'd be wintertime when you came to Ottawa with Belleville, you said Stefan Legion gave you a call. Did you have like any aspirations of this when you joined Belleville? Was this like a 21 Jump Street situation where you're like the older guy who kind of got airdropped into this situation at Belleville, kind of get the lay of the land, and now you have some more like informed opinions of the organization? Like, what were you thinking?
Well, yeah, I always kind of knew it was a possibility that my playing career was coming to an end. Obviously, having been at home kind of the first half of the year, just training and skating on my own, but I was trying not to think about that while I was playing. I think, you know, my goal was to go in there and extend my career. You know, I still have a passion to play. I really enjoyed it. And I had a lot of fun doing it. So I went in there with an open mind, but you know, my goal there was to continue playing and help that team as much as I could. And I had a lot of fun doing it. Ultimately, it just you know, it's a lot on the family living in Toronto and traveling back and forth to Belleville to play games and practice and all that. So decided to come back, but I had a great experience there.
Did you get a lot of texts from the guys in Belleville now that you're on the other side saying, "Oh, okay, now you're with them"?
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be a little different for sure, but I think developing those relationships with them while I was playing certainly, you know, gives me a leg up. You know, I'm not trying to get to know new guys. You know, it's really helped me. I think, you know, having a relationship with Stephen Halliday is as a player is really going to help me with you know, his development path and trying to get him to another level, just as an example. So you know, I'm excited for it, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
What do you have to do as director of player development to get guys developed, if you will? Like, what's your approach?
Yeah, I mean, development is it's hard to quantify in some ways, right? I mean, you know, it's ultimately up to the player. But you know, I think for me, I just want to give them, you know, every resource possible to be the best player they can be. Whether that's me being a sounding board for them or you know, giving them resources in terms of you know, their training, their diet, you know, their on ice development plan, trying to give them information to help them take ownership of their own development. Really, you know, I have a ton of experience in a lot of different roles, having, you know, been in the minors, being called up, playing top six, bottom six. You really, you know, you name it. So I can help them kind of navigate their journey. And in terms of the actual on ice development side of it, you know, I've been working at this for the last 4 or 5 years with my summer camps with the pro guys, running skates and thinking about development in a different way. And I think that really benefited me as a player towards the end of my career, trying to think of it in a different way. And I think it's really going to help me going into this as well, having an understanding of, you know, how guys develop, what to work on. So you know, I'm excited for it.
Just quickly, I did check out your website. You can't train Austin Matthews anymore. Okay. Just that you can't do it. The Leafs guys are out.
The Leafs guys. Yeah. It's hard to turn those guys away, but I might have to.
I was like, I can't do Austin Matthews anymore. You brought it up, and it was going to be my next question about, you are like you might be more of a sounding board than almost anything, right? Like I've talked to a few player development coaches in the past who are like, sometimes you need to kick some guys in the pants to let them understand and wake up a little bit. And sometimes you got to, I don't know, coddle is the word, but you almost are a part-time therapist.
Yeah, in a way. I mean, the pro game is really hard. You know, I think there's another level that you have to get to when you reach pro that, you know, some guys understand a little more than others. But, you know, there's a lot of ups and downs throughout your journey as well. I mean, I was very fortunate that my dad played and went through the ups and downs and was able to help me through those. And it's really hard. I mean, like, you're living out a dream, playing, you know, trying to become an NHL player. But there's so much that goes into it. You know, when you get called up, sent down, traded, all those different types of things, it takes an emotional toll on you. And, you know, being able to navigate those things is difficult. And I think having somebody that's been through it before to help these guys is important. So that's kind of we're going to have players in Belleville that get called up this year and, maybe play really well and get sent down because of things that are out of their control, and I can be a sounding board for them in those situations to kind of help them through that and help them gain an understanding that, your development is still ongoing and still important to not let it, get you down. You have to continue to push, and you never know when these opportunities come, and it's an everyday thing. So, I learned that throughout my career, and I believe that I can help these guys with that. So I'm excited for it.
Sam, obviously when your PTO ended before the season ended last year in Belleville, did you start having conversations with the organization then about the possibilities of your post-playing career? Or like, when did Steve Staios approach you about this possibility? And like, what have your first few weeks on the job been like?
Yeah, we had talked about it, but ultimately I just said to them, I want to give this my best shot until the trade deadline. And then, we can discuss it after that. And, I really considered continuing to play after the trade deadline. But ultimately, I wanted to be there for my kids, be at home, and, be involved a little more on that side of things. And, so I gave Steve a call and we discussed it. And, we had gone kind of back and forth on what the role might be, but I have a ton of respect for Steve. I played with him in Edmonton for a couple of years when I was first coming into the league, and he was so good to me, a real mentor to me as a player. And I just felt it was a great opportunity to, learn from him as I transitioned into this side of my career. So it was exciting for me, and I'm really looking forward. I think, the start of the job is it's been a lot of fun. I've had an opportunity to kind of be involved in some some pro meetings just to kind of get a sense of how those all operate, which is a huge learning experience for me, something I haven't seen before. And then on development side of things, just trying to put some plans together for certain players, and that'll continue to evolve. The draft's coming up, so there's going to be new guys coming in as well. So just try to develop plans for them where, we can have touch points with them and have them know that this is available to them, that, I'm here to work with them and help them improve and ultimately help them become, the best Ottawa Senators they can be.
How do you split your time? Will you spend a majority of it in Belleville, or will you be in Ottawa?
Most of it in Belleville. Yeah, most of it in Belleville. It's and I'm excited to work with those guys. I'm excited to work with the staff there. Obviously, Stefan Legion's a friend of mine since I was a kid, and then Andrew Campbell was a roommate of mine in Arizona for a little bit. So already have great relationship with them, and then working with David Bell as well. It's going to be it's exciting. I think most of my time will be spent there helping those guys out. And then I'll probably do a lot of, remote work as well. Getting touch points with different players that are playing in junior or overseas, and just trying to help them kind of navigate their seasons and ultimately develop them into players. So, like I said, a lot of the onus falls on the player to put in the necessary work to get to the next level. And it's, my role to kind of support them and guide them and help them out with kind of whatever it is they need to get there.
You talked about still wanting to play hockey. Are you going to play beer league hockey? Because you'd be like a ringer. Like everybody would be trying to get you to play.
Yeah, the beer league hockey is a tough one. I've had a number of conversations with former NHL players that do it and don't have a great experience just because people are trying to take one out of you. But I think being on the ice with the Belleville guys, being involved in development, it was something that, as I was talking about this with Steve, that, you know, was exciting for me, that I still get to be on the ice. You know, I love to play. I love to be on the ice. It's a little different. Like when I spent some time in Belleville at the end of last year in a role similar to this, and you know, when the guys were starting to play their you know, small area games at the end of practice, I was like, I'd really love to just put on my gear and go do this. So, you know, maybe that's still an option, but yeah, it's a great role for me to transition into, and I'm looking forward to it.
Do you think if you wind up playing beer league, though, everybody's going to expect you to get 8 points a night all the time?
Yeah, it's possible. I actually, one of my friends asked me to pad his stats one year in the Adult State Hockey League. And so I put on all his gear, and I think I got him 8 to 10 or something like that. And it helped zero out a lot. But
I hope he buy you a beer for that.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Graeme.
No, I was just gonna say. So you're the only player in the last 36 years to have an 8-point night. Like, do you still get? Does it ever get tiring answering questions about it, or like do you just love to reminisce about that night?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't come up as much as you'd think, which is fine by me. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those nights that, like, I enjoy talking about it. It was just, yeah, it's great memories. I mean, you know, when I look back on that night, I'm still really good friends with a lot of guys that I was, you know, that were playing in that game. And it was just a special experience. The fans in Edmonton, they're unbelievable. And, you know, they were always so supportive and so good to me. And a night like that just kind of, you know, it's one of those nights that you'll never forget. I felt the support from them throughout all the ups and downs of, you know, those rebuilding years. And on a night like that, it was just kind of extra special. So, yeah, certainly a memorable night.
And you did it against like a stacked Blackhawks team, right? Like they won the Cup in 2013, won the Cup in 2010, and yeah, it's just
it was like, it was one of those nights. I think you know, the Chicago goes on that circus road trip every year where the circus comes into Chicago and they head out of town, and it was during that trip, and I think they were flying to Vegas that night, and this was before Vegas was in the league, so they were just having a kind of a team bonding trip. So I got kind of lucky. I think they were checked out a little bit, just getting ready for Vegas. But yeah, it was a crazy night, and you know, I benefited from the fact that they can score too. So the game was tight right into the end, and so I kept getting put out there. So I think it was 6-4 at one point, and you know, a lot of nights, if you have 6 points, you know, you're probably up 6-1, and you're not going to play the rest of the game. But it was tight, and so I get to keep playing and keep padding my stats, I guess.
So yeah, I was looking at the box score. You were down 2-0 early, and then you chip away, and then it was 3-3 after 2. Was there a moment in the third period where it's like the points just continue to come in? Like, what are the guys saying to you on the bench? Like, I think you had like 3 points in the first. Yeah, 3 points through 2 periods, and then it just escalated from there.
Yeah, I mean, I had nothing in the first, actually. I remember sitting in the dressing room after the first period, like upset about how I was playing. And then our coach changed lines going into the second, put me with Taylor Hall and Jordan Eberle, and it just kind of started to roll from there. I had 3 points after 2 periods, and then the third period, it just kind of, you know, people talk about kind of like flow state, and I just kind of felt that in the third. Like, I wasn't thinking about too much. I was just going out there and playing, and things were happening. And so I wish I could have found that more in my career, that kind of flow state. But it was it was a special night for sure.
1,043 NHL games, regular season games, if I'm not mistaken, 17 seasons. You're actually the only player in NHL history, if I'm not mistaken, to be on 2 teams that have won 14 straight games.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a favorite moment or memory aside from the 8-point game?
Oof, that's a good question. I mean, there's a lot of things that come to mind, right?
Yeah. I know it's tough to nail it down to one.
Yeah, I mean, I always try to view my career as kind of a journey, just kind of enjoying the process of it all. I think that's what allowed me to play as long as I did and enjoy it as much as I did. You know, I was never really thinking about results too much. It was always just the day to day, putting in the work and enjoying that. And I think honestly, that's one of the things I'm going to miss the most. I even felt that in Belleville this year, that just, you know, like people can look at like the long bus rides and, you know, the getting in late and having to get up the next day and practice as a negative of the job. And to me, that was something I always enjoyed, because it was just like, it was all part of it. You know, that grind of it. I'm gonna, you know, I might sound a little insane, but I'm gonna miss that part of it. It's, you know, I love training. I loved working on my game, and you know, it's, you know, even this year before I went to Belleville and I was training and skating in my own, I loved that part of it. So, you know, I'm going to miss that a lot. And then just, you have so many memories of hanging out with the guys, you know, playing cards on the plane, you know, being in the dressing room, going out to dinners. Those are the memories that are so fun for me. So like if you're asking me that, I don't really look back at any games or goals or any. It's just the entire process of it and the camaraderie, and I think those are the things that I'll miss the most.
Who's the worst card player you played against?
I'm gonna say Connor Brown, just because I know how much it'll upset him, and I know he was an Ottawa guy.
Yeah,
he likes to tell everybody that he's a semi-professional Texas Hold'em player, so I'm gonna say him just to upset him.
that's awesome. Fair enough. Playing. Oh, so now that I just want to get your thoughts on the Cup final. I know you played in Edmonton, and you're obviously your heart's still a part of the Edmonton Oilers. What do you think the series will look like?
Yeah, I mean, I think the Edmonton players will have learned a lot from last year. You know, we got down 3-0 and fought our way back to a game 7. And there's a lot of learning that comes from that. So I think, you know, coming into this year, they're more battle tested. They've learned a lot more. They've been to a Cup final, similar to the year before. Florida had been in a Cup final, and I think you learn a lot about your team. And so, you know, I think that's going to be a benefit to Edmonton. But Florida is really tough. They play a rugged style that's relentless, and they make you earn every inch of ice. And you know, they've added to their team. I think, you know, the additions of Brad Marchand and Seth Jones, they make them better. And then, you know, losing Hyman is really impactful for Edmonton. He's a guy that kind of touches all areas of the game, plays really hard. You know, he's a guy I really feel for him, obviously, because how much he means to that team, and how much the opportunity means to him. But you know, getting Ekholm back also really helps them. He's such a steady presence back there, and a huge leader for them. So I don't, you know, I'm not a side picker, so I'm not going to make a prediction, but
you're a politician. It's okay.
I'm just, I'm cheering for some good hockey, and I know we're going to see it.
Fair enough. Before we let you go, I know it's not fair to ask you about certain players, so I'll ask you and you don't have to answer, but I'm thinking like a lot of fans are excited about perhaps Carter Yakimchuk and what his development will mean. Where do you see his game and what needs to be developed, if you will?
Well, I think, you know, coming off of last year, getting drafted as high as he did, and coming in and having a great camp was a huge boost for him. And then, you know, he had another great year. So, you know, for me, I'm excited to get to know him better, get a sense of what makes him tick and what his aspirations are. And, you know, I'm going to reach out to him and get a sense of what his summer's like and just continue to help him build. I mean, he's a big right shot center that has offensive ability, and those are hard to find. So just continue to help him develop. I mean, I think, you know, he's already a great player. And, you know, there's steps that come just with maturity and, you know, experience that he's, you know, he's growing. So I'm going to help him any way I can. I'm excited to get to know him better and looking forward to working with him.
Are you spending a lot of time watching video of the prospects you may not be familiar with? Like like you mentioned, like building that rapport with the young prospects early on. Like how much of your time right now is dedicated to that?
Yeah. I'm going through it. You know, there's a lot of prospects to get to, so just trying to get an understanding of kind of where they're all at. Been working with Sean Tierney on, you know, their analytical reports and trying to get a sense of their strengths and weaknesses, and just trying to based on all of that. I think you know, it's important to get all the information you can to build out the best possible plan. So yeah, I mean, it's I had already done it with a lot of the Belleville guys, obviously having been there. You know, when I was watching my shifts last year, Stephen Halliday was on the ice for a lot of them. So I you know, I was already kind of doing that. And then, but yeah, there's certainly, you know, a lot of the junior kids and, you know, different prospects that I have to continue to get a better sense of where they're at in their development and how I can best help them.
Has there been anyone who stood out? Just maybe not the most heralded player that you've known or prospect that you're familiar with? Is there anyone who stood out or you're like, oh, this guy could actually be a good player?
Now you're really putting me on the spot, eh?
You can't answer those questions.
I'm just asking. It's a simple question.
As a coach, you never ever single out guys.
All right, but it's a positive. It's not a negative.
No. You know what? I'm looking forward to development camp to really get a better sense of, you know, the entire prospect pool and their strengths and weaknesses. I mean, you know, the development camp's a tough one because some guys are just finishing their season. Others have been off for a while training. You don't know where everyone's at, but that'll be a really good experience for me to get to know all the guys a little bit better. And yeah, it'll be fun.
Well, it's been fun having you, Sam. I appreciate you taking time out of your summer, if you will, to let us bother you for a bit. So thank you for joining us.
Yeah,
thanks,
absolutely.
Congratulations on your hiring too.
Yeah, look forward to seeing your work. Thanks. Right. There goes Sam Gagner, who's the new player development coach of the Ottawa Senators, director of player development, if you will. Now we got to hurry up and get to our next guest, who's been patiently waiting for us to stop yapping. Before we do that, this show is always brought to you by our good friends at BEI, Bonnechere Excavating Inc., helping to shape the Ottawa Valley. Now is the time as the weather changes. You can get all that landscaping done if you haven't already. They've got aggregate topsoil sales. Give them a call, 613-432-1120. Competitive pricing, if you will. And of course, if you're looking to redo your driveway, they can do it all, basically. BonnechereExcavating.com or give them a call. BEI, helping to shape the Ottawa Valley. And of course, Graeme.
Slow down in construction zones. Yeah. Got it. I'm on it. Get ready, Canada. The playoff season is here. And Shoeless Joe's Sports Grill in Kemptville and Orleans are coming in hot. They're serving up fresh, made-to-order dishes every day. And for a limited time, you can dive into a True North playoff menu packed with bold flavors and fan favorites. But wait, the best part, head to Shoeless Joe's and you can win a trip to the finals. Whether it's a night out, a family dinner, or a game day with friends, Shoeless Joe's Sports Grill is your home for great food, big moments, and unbeatable vibes. Shoeless Joe's Sports Grill, proudly Canadian, always legendary.
All right. He's been patiently waiting. So let's bring on our good friend. And we'll ask him how his year went covering the Ottawa Senators. Julian McKenzie from The Athletic and from the Chris Johnston Show. And now he's written a book, another one.
Big deal.
Oh my God. How many jobs do you have?
This is like the least amount of jobs I've had at one time. Maybe ever. Like, you guys think I'm working hard now. You guys should have seen me like years ago.
Oh, hey, you don't get anywhere in this industry unless you work hard at it. So
You
So
know
that
it.
the
You know
hustle.
it. You know it just as well as anyone else, Wally.
Respect
Gotta
the hustle,
work.
man.
Appreciate it. Thank
Nice
you,
to
man.
see you. How are things?
Things are good, man. Just trying to enjoy the downtime. Just went back home with the folks and tried to catch up with my grandmother. I have a grandmother from Trinidad and Tobago who's up with my fam up in Montreal, and she's staying with them till September. So she's celebrating her birthday this weekend. Actually, she's going to turn 91, so that's going to be fun.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So chances are she makes a dish that you love and always wait for her to show up to eat it. What is her dish that's your favorite?
Oh wow, that is my grands hasn't cooked for me for a long time.
Oh, so she doesn't like you.
She loves me. She loves me. She's at a point now. She doesn't really cook like that.
All right. Is there a dish from back like Trinidad and Tobago that
like
you love?
like if I'm going to when I'm going to TNT, like
Yeah.
I need a good roti. You know what I'm saying? Like I need a good like you know what a roti is, Wally?
No. Is it potatoes or vegetables or a steak? I don't know.
It's like a big like how can I describe a roti for you?
Is it a
Like
soup? A stew?
no, it's not a soup, it's not a stew at all. It's just this like real big like imagine like naan bread a little bit, kind of
Okay.
similar to that, but like you could stuff like curry chicken in there. Usually like curry stuffed in there. So whether it's like curry chicken, I've had curry shrimp in there. You put your chickpeas in there.
It's like a burrito.
It's like that's like maybe you're bastardizing it a little bit, but yeah, we'll call it like a really fancy, not even fancy. We'll just call it like a TNT burrito. That's as good as we.
Pita.
It's not really a pita though. It's a roti. It's a roti. Like there's a version of it that's called doubles where it's a lot smaller and you could you know still put your chickpeas and stuff in there. But like yeah, like that'd be something I would like when I go to TNT or and all that. You know, I mean, my grands hasn't cooked for me in a while, which is that's really funny you ask me that question because like I mean she's old now. Like she has like a caretaker who would normally cook food for her. Literally, she was over just a couple moments ago. I was putting together lunch for her. Like it's been a while since she would like cook me something like at least like 20-something years since that's happened.
Wow.
But like, yeah, man, you know, my grands, that's still someone who's really important in my life. She taught me how to read.
Yep.
Like
Yep.
that's someone who's really important.
I remember like you at the end of the season, we were talking, you said, yeah, my family's coming and how excited you were to see her. So I'm glad. So I apologize for taking time away from your family.
No, please, dude. I love being on this show. I still have to fight off the reputation of oversleeping that first time. So I will not resist any opportunity when I can to pop on this.
I
show.
laugh.
At least one person made the joke today about me sleeping in. At least one person made the joke.
That's why Wally booked the afternoon show.
He thought of my sleep schedule.
Yeah, never in the morning with Julian. Never in the morning.
No, afternoon, man. Whatever, man. Honestly, like you guys have a great show. It's fun to be on with you guys. So, like, you know, you're not really taking me away from a fan. Just, you know,
all right.
It's great.
Some days people laugh, so it's good.
Yeah.
Let's quickly get your thoughts on last season. We haven't just chatted, so I'm just curious. Well, we got some time. Is your first year covering the Sens? Everything went well, so I don't know if you're like the good luck charm. How did you assess that season?
I thought, considering everything that they had endured for the 7 seasons before, where they weren't making the playoffs, that was a necessary step forward. And at least from my view, it was at that point where I think for a lot of fans, they wanted to see their team make the playoffs. They wanted to see their best players take steps. That's a year you can look back at and say, hey, you know what? I'm really happy we took that step. I feel good about going in the first round and giving the Leafs all they could handle. And look, we all know, I think we all are in agreement here. If the Sens find a way to win Game 6, they're going to win Game 7 on the road. Like, I think we were all in agreement of that. And if there are Leafs fans in here who want to complain and be like, oh, you guys being a homer, well, I think you secretly know it too. But all that to say, I think for what was expected of this team and what this team believed internally that they felt they could do, I think it's mission accomplished. What I'm very fascinated to know is what the expectations. I think I have an idea of what they should be for next year, but how fans and the players and the organization respond to that. Because now it's not just good enough just to make the playoffs. And if you find a way to not make the playoffs next year, you're taking a step back. And we'll have to assess that if that happens. But for this Sens team, it's all about ensuring that your growth continues, particularly when you have teams like Detroit trying to make the playoffs. Buffalo, I mean, they're further down, but they're trying to make the playoffs. Montreal made the playoffs last year. They're trying to maintain their footing. It's all about just kind of keeping up. So I'm looking to see how the Sens do that, and that starts with a really good offseason.
Do you anticipate a big offseason? Like, we've had this conversation off air like several times. Like, you know, we listen to like Steve Staios talk about, you know, even just looking at this year's draft, he's keeping this year's pick because he expects that linear progress. They're going to be better. They're going to continue to get better. What does this? I think if they run it back with the group that they have, they're kind of in the same situation. Like, what does this team need to do to get significantly better?
I think just finding another scorer up front in your top six, that goes a long way. And I think if you're able to get a player who plays with some pace and can fit on a top line with Stützle and Tkachuk, that goes a long way. But it all depends on, I guess, who's going to be available, how much cap space you'll have, depending on what you've done with signing Claude Giroux and if you do that, or Fabian Zetterlund and a few other guys. But also, is a trade something that you do, right? Like, do you look at your roster and say, who do we move off the roster to make that work to get that high quality piece? I can sit here all day and tell you what they need, but I think the big thing to think about is, what do the Sens have in order to get that piece? If it means a trade, are the Senators prepared, depending on who the player is, are the Sens prepared to say, okay, we're putting Shane Pinto in this trade to make this work? I don't have a lot of draft.
We will not tolerate Shane Pinto slander on this show.
Okay,
Congratulations.
Whoa, time out.
I'm just kidding.
I know you're kidding, but there are people who listen to you and might take that as actual slander. And I know I have a pen in my hand, so I sound more professional, but hear me out here. That's not slander. Shane Pinto, very good center, had a very good world championship. Some team out there might view him as an asset that needs to come the other way in order to make a trade happen. I remember at the beginning of the offseason, there were people asking me if Drake Batherson was worth moving to make that happen. Drake Batherson, who's entering his prime on a cost-effective contract as a scorer, who, if you move away, aren't we going to be saying the same thing? Hey, this team needs scoring. You look at the stats and see where they were at in scoring and where they're at 5-on-5 scoring. Like, I don't know if you move Drake Batherson to make that happen. I don't think you can. I don't think he's the guy to move.
I think it depends.
You can't get rid of a top six guy and hope that you're going to fill when you already need another top. Like, let's be okay.
I don't think you're moving him until you fill it, though. That's the thing, right?
Sure. I mean, but if you're going to fill it, you're going to have to give up something if it's by way of trade.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's not. So, okay, here's my question then, Julian, as you brought up Claude Giroux, is he coming back on your team next year? Now he watches the show, so you'll have to answer to him in the locker room if he signs a new deal.
I want him back on my team. If I'm the general manager of the Ottawa Senators, and if I'm anyone on the Ottawa Senators, I'd love to have him back, but the price has to be right.
Well, okay. Besides the price, where does he fit? Is he a top
put him on a third line? You could put. I think if you get the scorer you need up front, he's a middle six, third line option. I think he's somebody who, if in the event you need to juggle your lines a little bit, and you have to, he has the capability to work with Stützle and Tkachuk, you put him back on that top line. I think he's a player, a veteran in that room who has garnered so much respect, knows so much about what it takes to play at a high level and maintain that standard to get you there. If I'm the Senators, yeah, I want him back. But I also understand he's 37 years old and his stats have been going down from the first year he was in Ottawa to the present day. Like, if this was Joe Pavelski we were talking about here, who had career numbers at 37 years old. You're like, oh damn, like Fisher, like you got to sign this dude. I still think you feel that way about Claude Giroux with what he means to this team, but I think you have to be a little bit more cautious about the money you throw out at a guy at 37 years old who, while I think, yeah, if you need to put him on a first line, that's okay. But like, I think in a perfect situation, the Sens get somebody else to fill in that role and you keep him around in your middle six. He really listens to this show?
Yes.
Why do you sound surprised?
Everybody does. It's an internet sensation.
No, but that's awesome. But that's great. I'm not surprised. Like, oh man, you listen to this show? Like, no, like that's cool. That's great.
I believe that's how you said it.
Yeah, that's how I said it. I don't know how Graham took it.
Just a little shock and awe, baby. A little shock and awe.
Oh yeah.
All right, we'll move on. You have a new book coming out February.
Yeah.
Called Black Aces. It looks exciting. Now, give me the genesis of this. What made you want to do it? Also, how long did it take you to compile?
Okay. I got approached about writing a book, I want to say in August 2023. I wrote a story about Bill Peters and him getting a job coaching in the dub. And how, for context, for people who don't remember Bill Peters, he's the coach who who threw out a bunch of racial slurs at Akim Aliu during the 2009-2010 AHL season. Those allegations come to light. He ends up resigning from his job in Calgary. He coaches in Russia for a couple of years. He comes back to North America. I still thought the process in terms of bringing him back to North America was a little weird. And we asked him questions about it. We asked the Lethbridge Hurricanes about it. And I wrote a story about that. And then that's what prompted the agent I'm working with, Brian Wood, to reach out to me and say, hey, would you be interested in writing a book on race in hockey? And I really wasn't sure how to go about doing it. I felt I covered that story as well as I could. I didn't know how to. I didn't feel at the time I could do a book justice on, what needs to be done with hockey culture in terms of being more inclusive of race. And maybe I'm shortchanging myself a little bit, but like at the time I wasn't sure, but I thought, well, maybe it would still be cool to profile Black players and Black people. And while at the same time highlighting the fact that there's still so much more to go in hockey culture in terms of making Black people feel more welcome and eradicating racism from the game, I think it was still worthwhile to highlight stories from Black hockey players and people who love the game and who have had their experiences, unfortunately, with racism, but rose above it to become the stars that they are, whether it's Jerome McGinley, whether it's Sarah Nurse, whether it's Kevin Weeks, who's gone on to have a good media career, whether it's Anson Carter, whether it's Blake Bolden. My hope was to highlight those players as best as I could. And yeah, I basically since the fall of 2023 to I'd say about a couple of weeks ago when I submitted my an extra chapter to the book, like that's as long as it's taken me to put this together. And we're still waiting on a couple copy edits, and the book goes to the printer in October. There's a lot to go through, but like the bulk of the writing has been done. Essentially, it's been a really fun process.
What was like the one player profile that you maybe didn't anticipate enjoying writing the most?
Blake Bolden. For context, for people who aren't familiar with Blake Bolden as much, so you can find her on Amazon as part of the Amazon Prime Monday broadcast. But she played in the NWHL for a couple of years. I believe the first Black player drafted into the league. Has played for, has wanted to play for Team USA. Never really got that opportunity, and that gets addressed in the book as well. But I really enjoyed getting to know her and learning about her backstory, growing up in Ohio and waking up at like 2-3 in the morning when her mom would go out on newspaper routes, and she would be sitting in the back of her mom's car, just like trying to stay awake, helping her mom deliver the paper. And one day they go out on a route and they encounter a security officer who happens to work at the local arena for the international hockey league team, the Cleveland Lumberjacks. And Blake's mom and the security officer strike up a relationship. And next thing you know, Blake is going to hockey games. And that's where she finds her love for the sport, and watching this local team that happens to have Martin St. Louis on it, as he was just at the beginning of the journey of his career. And Blake eventually, like, again, she loves the sport. And the security officer, who, again, has that relationship with her mom, helps her nurture her love for the sport. She ends up going to boarding school and makes the rise up to college hockey, and then ends up playing pro and achieves a bunch of success. And she eventually moves on and becomes a pro scout for the LA Kings, does some work for ESPN, and now she's at Amazon. So that's one story I really enjoyed telling. I think Fred Brathwaite's story was pretty cool too. Herb Carnegie, learning about him. Not a lot of people know about him and his story. Arguably the best black player to have never played in the National Hockey League, played on an all-black line in a semi-pro league in Quebec called the Black Aces, and knowing about how he endured so many hurdles. I mean, there's one story I can't help but think about that I'll just bring up here, but there's a story that went around where when he was really young, about the 1950s, I want to say, or maybe earlier, he gets to play with a local team in Toronto at the Maple Leaf Gardens, and Conn Smythe, who is with the Leafs at the time, as head coach and all these other things with the organization, he's there and he's watching Herb. And he sees Herb, he sees how well he's playing, and somehow it gets to Herb that Conn Smythe would pay someone like 10 grand if they could find a way to turn Herb Carnegie white. Like, he put him on his team the next day if he turned him white. And there's an interview, you can find it online, where Herb is getting interviewed by Elliot Friedman, and like that interview happened like 50 something years after the fact, and Herb is crying, he's in tears, he is full on sobbing. And that's something that was just like a one-off incident that maybe people would brush off if it was them, but that's someone who was visibly hurt by what happened and was shaken up by it. And to watch that interview back, to ask Elliot questions about it, and to learn more about Herb's story and how much that fueled a lot of upset feelings about it, but also didn't stop him from trying to have a pro career and ultimately just, still pave his own way, leading to people like Willie O'Ree and Mike Marson and Bill Riley and so many other people after the fact who've been able to play in the National Hockey League. Like, I still think Herb's story is still something that so many people should take the time to learn about and read about. So whether through his biography or whether through my book, I hope people take the time to do that.
Yeah, an amazing story. I actually wasn't aware of all of it. I had heard about him, but not to that extent. In fact, I'm from Fredericton, the hometown of Willie O'Ree. So he and I have been able to speak a number of occasions, which is always really cool to me. He's just one of the, he's almost legendary in this sport now because he's such a great individual.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. Like even younger players like EJ Emery, who got drafted at the draft in 2024. He got asked like who's a player he would love to play alongside. He mentioned Willie O'Ree. There was a story I came across where Pierre-Olivier Joseph was like so excited to meet him and had like a photo of him in his jacket line. Like, the cool thing about Willie O'Ree is he's not just someone who resonates with people of older generations like a Grant Fuhrer. He's someone who still resonates with younger players and younger people.
Yeah, and he's done a tremendous amount for the sport. He's just a really, really great gentleman. It's one of I have a picture interviewing him. It's one of my favorite pictures that I actually still have. So
nice.
Here's a quick question before you go: do you get to pick the cover art, or is that done without your say?
The cover art, they had an idea. It just so happened to be really close to what I would have liked, because like I love the font of Black Aces. I love the colors and black and red. There's actually a kind of a funny story. You know what? I'll tell you guys. So, in the design for it, like in my head, I thought like, yeah, it'd be cool to feature prominently like players, like players who I know are going to be in the book, but like real good players. Sure. But I talked with my sisters about it, like two younger sisters, and this is something that's unique to me and I don't think anyone else would have to think about. But like the fact that like, yes, there are black players who have played for decades, but there are a lot of biracial players. And my sisters looked at the cover and they were like, well, it'd be good if we had like a darker skinned player on the front. And like getting Kevin Weeks on the front was like a great idea. There was like an initial idea we had like Jerome, I think Sarah Nurse, and I think Grant Fuhr was on it, which was great. It's just my sisters were like, well, like what about someone, like someone darker, which is, I get maybe for a lot of people listening, it's like it's a weird thing to consider.
Yeah.
But like that was something I had to consider with the cover. Like I got a lot of feedback on it, and we'll find a way to have Grant on the book, I'm sure, in some way. But like, yeah, like this, I definitely had to say in it, and we went back and forth on a couple different designs and the tagline above too, like what we wanted it to say, and focusing on little details like that was just that was an interesting part of the process too. But I really love my cover. I really love the way the book looks, and
That looks great.
I can't wait to see how it looks like with a physical copy. When it gets to that point, that's when it's going to feel really real.
Yeah, we look forward to it. So great job. It is, I had the number. It's like 265 pages. Does that sound right?
Yeah, it's like we have it like 256. It'll probably be around there.
See,
We got to account for like photos and stuff, and
yeah. Anyway, I'm excited for you. Great job, my friend.
I
Nice
appreciate that, man. Thank you. That means a lot.
How are you going to
So-
fit a book tour in like your busy schedule for like next year? Like you're going to be, I'm assuming you're going to be all over the place doing it.
Well, I mean, the book's coming out in February. I hear the Olympics are happening, so I unless work is all of a sudden saying, "Hey, you want to go to the Olympics?" I imagine I'll be spending a good chunk of February promoting that. But also the fact that this book is out. I mean, out for pre-orders now. I will probably be doing a whole bunch of promotion up until then. So I will find a way to make the time.
I got
I
my
hope they
pre-order in.
send you to Northern Ontario in the middle of February.
Why? Why? What a terrible thing to say.
Oh man! Hey, look!
That's
If I
ice
gotta
cold,
go
man.
there,
That's ice
if I gotta
cold.
go there, literally ice cold. But if I gotta go there to promote this book and people show up and they want it signed and people buy it, like, who am I to stop people from spending their hard-earned money, and particularly after Christmas? So yeah, well, whoever wants you around, man, would be great to do something in Ottawa. Obviously, in my home city, Montreal, and in Calgary. I've had a few people out in Calgary ask if that's happening. Yeah, just wherever the people want black aces, I'll find my way there.
So here's
Well-
a question for you.
Oh.
We talked about the Ottawa Senators. How did you enjoy your first year in Ottawa?
It was cool, man. Here's the thing, like Ottawa, I've been there a bunch of times, so it's not like when I went there, I was like, oh man, this is this whole new city. I don't know what to expect about anything. I don't know. But it was cool.
It's always different to visit a city versus actually live there, though.
Absolutely. Like to experience the city vibe, to experience the people there. I have a couple buddies from high school who live out there, and getting to catch up with them has been really cool. I liked it. I like the city. I like covering this Sens team and being a part of the Ottawa media ecosystem. There's a lot of cool, interesting
Look at the grin on
personalities.
Brent's face. Look at the grin on Brent's face.
I just know you mean me.
Yo, man, getting to know Wally has been so cool. Graeme, I mean, I love Graeme. Graeme, that's the homie. Wally, I don't know, has Graeme ever told you that we were actually, funny enough, I think this was in New Brunswick. We were both at a baseball tournament at the same time. We had no idea who each other were in like 2017, and I believe it was in Fredericton. Funny enough.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. So Graeme, you were working with like the Carleton Ravens, right? Like you were like a base coach.
Assistant coach, yeah.
Yeah, I was doing play-by-play for McGill's baseball team, and I ended up like doing the whole tournament. And like McGill and Carleton like played each other in the final and everything. It was
We might have
quite a
been
good
staying
game.
we might have been staying at the same hotel and stuff as well.
I wasn't even at a hotel. I crashed with a buddy in his dorm. He was going to UNB at the time. I wasn't even at a hotel. Like I had to find I got lucky that I had a friend who happened to be in the city at that time.
But
But like,
McGill made you ride the bus with them, and then they don't put you up in a hotel with them.
hey, you know what, man?
It's cold. That is
Did,
cool.
I found a way to make it work. Make it
Yeah.
work. That's no shade to McGill. Shout out McGill. It was a really good experience with those guys.
Speaking of McGill, Matthew Darsh, who went to McGill's, now the general manager of the New York Islanders. Good for him. I actually covered him when he played at McGill because I won the McGill Concordia Media Award. Did you?
I don't even know if that was a thing when I went to Concordia, but also McGill didn't really have any media stuff there, so there was no window for me to go there. But hey, congrats! You have an award that doesn't even exist.
Where's this award now?
Yeah, where's the award? Where is it? Do you have it behind you in your backdrop?
No.
Some award.
Well, it's not about me. The show is about the show.
Goes to show how much you care about this award.
No, I don't like to brag about individual accomplishments. Just like I don't have all of our top podcast awards up. It's just a show. We're just here.
Oh, that's nice. That's cool. Hey, congrats on those podcast awards, man. That's awesome. That's really cool. I think it's great you guys have those.
I can't tell if you're being facetious or not.
Hey, man, I think it's cool you got the podcast awards, man. It's cool you got them. I think it's great. I think it's amazing that you have them, man. Have them right next to you, McGill Concordia Award, man. You hold it in that high regard.
I know. When I moved into this house, I didn't put any of that up.
Oh, word? So where is it? Is you having like a den somewhere? Like you have an attic, or
do you want?
It's not a paperweight, is it?
Do you want an honest answer?
Yeah.
All right. So the last couple of weeks, I've been cleaning out the basement. If we moved 6 years ago into this house, and if it hasn't come out of a box, it's got to go. I got 20 some things listed on Facebook Marketplace that I'm just trying to sell to get rid of.
Oh man,
is the award one of them?
No, I put it in the garbage.
You put it in the garbage.
Yeah.
You put it in the garbage.
You put an award in the garbage.
He put a whole award. You know how many people beg to be recognized?
And I don't. What am I going to do with it?
You can't brag about. You can't brag about
garbage.
No.
So do I just show up at Sens? Do I just show up at Sens practice and pull it out of my backpack and go, "Hey, what am I going to do with it? Nothing. Nothing."
You put it on your desk behind you.
Graeme, you see how big time Wally is? This man is throwing away awards.
I know.
But anything that had Bell on it, that's gone.
Yeah.
My 20 years of distinction, I don't have that anymore.
Whoa, wait.
That's gotta go.
I don't want Bell.
I don't need all that stuff.
I don't want Bell to hear that and be like, "Oh, Julian's laughing at Bell." Hey, we're cool. We're cool. We're cool. We're square.
I don't need. There's no need for it.
Yeah, I can't wait to get to a point in my life where I have a similar mindset where it's I don't need this award I won 20 years ago.
No, I've already won. I've won the award, but I don't need to have it displayed to go, "Hey, everybody, look at me and my award."
Man,
I need that.
Seriously. You know what? I know we're joking around a little bit, but that's actually really deep. You've just reached this point in your mind where you're you know what, man? I'm comfortable enough with myself and my career and everything that I've done. I don't need to show this off.
But me having that doesn't change how this show is being put together today or how I'm going to do tomorrow. It doesn't. None of that changes. So
that doesn't change Wally. That doesn't change his approach at practice every day. You're right.
So that's all. So I don't need it. I don't mean that as a ungrateful. I just I don't need it.
Yeah.
I would 100%. I'd have it on the shelf behind me.
It depends on the award too, right? All right, in all seriousness, I could understand. All right, a McGill Concordia award. All right, whatever. You have that somewhere. You don't need on the display. There's a few things I know I've featured prominently in previous backdrops before that that mean a lot to me.
If it was a Canadian Screen Award, the Canadian version of the Geminis or Emmys, I guess it is. I might display it. I would keep it, but
display that. I'd display that.
No, see, I'm not. I don't. No,
Graeme, we are built different, brother, man. You see how Wally is? That Screen Award, you wouldn't even show that.
I know,
dog. I don't know, man. I won a podcast award 5 years ago. I was displaying that for years after that, man. That meant a lot for me to win that. I can't wait to get on your level, man. If I work hard enough in this business another 20 something years,
Why did we even get to, I feel I shouldn't even brought it up.
No, I love
That's
this.
great.
I love my love for this show has grown exponentially doing this hit, knowing how Wally feels about accolades and just I love this show. This is so great.
It was always my dream to win the Canadian Screen Award. They were called Geminis at the time, but that was like that was like the pinnacle. And it was like if you would ask me, what do you want to be when you grow up? I was going to be a TSN reporter, and I was going to win a Gemini. I never won it, but I gave up thinking about that like 20 years ago. I'm like, yeah, whatever, right? Like, it doesn't make you any different.
You still loved Wally.
He's right though. But he's right though. He's absolutely right. Like we put awards literally on these pedestals and make them think that like, oh yeah, I become so much more important because I have it. But like at the end of the day, it is just like a piece of plastic or metal or whatever the material is. You are right.
Like I got it just sits in a box. Like,
likes to get
like I got all this Olympic stuff from the Olympic Games that I've listed now on Facebook because I don't do anything with it. So
I thought you were going to say you got like Olympic stuff from like McGill and Concordia. Some Olympics games you participated in those two schools.
No, Graeme, you sit this one out.
It's like around the horn. It's like around the horn. You just mute me.
You just lost 10 points.
Yeah.
Oh no!
I just
God.
just gotta go.
Oh man, dog! I can't wait to get to a point where I've done so much in my career where I'm just like, I don't know what to do with this.
It's not that.
No. Okay. In all seriousness, though, like I do genuinely understand where you're coming from, and it is really. I am really genuinely intrigued at hearing your perspective as a veteran in the game. Like it means a lot to hear that perspective.
Yeah, I just try to do that. Like, so I want the next show to be the most watched show ever. They aren't obviously going to be, and whatever, unless Jaromir Jagr comes on or something. But you just try to make every show the best one yet. So that's all.
No, you're right. I try to do the same thing on CJ's show and every article I write and anything I do, man. Like that's what we're all in this for, man.
Yeah. So I just want like the fact that you laughed at some point in this show is a success for me. As long as people laugh, that's all.
It doesn't take much, but you're right.
Yeah. People like to laugh at me all the time. So I feel it's easy. All right. Well, sorry, we kept you way too long. I apologize.
Dude, are you too long at all?
Are you coming back for the alumni tournament?
That's like next Friday, right? Yeah, I'll be back. My hope was to come back in time for the cup final and just be home and watch games on my own couch and live blog that for the Athletic and just keep tabs on that, and whatever Sens stuff happens, I'll be around for. So you'll see me in June.
Cool.
For the Claude Giroux signing. All right.
That too.
Talk to you soon, my friend. Safe travels. Enjoy your family time.
Thanks, friends. Good to hear you. Good to hear from you guys.
Yeah. See ya. Julian McKenzie from The Athletic, and now author of Black Aces, which you can pre-order online, which I also think you can pre-order it on Amazon. And
yeah, that's what I did. Yeah.
All right. Last little bit of work before we shut down for Friday, although I'm sure everybody's thoroughly enjoyed by our conversation about, we just had a conversation about nothing.
That was awesome. That was good. That was a good organic fun. That was chit chat. That was chit chat 101. I'm sure people enjoyed it.
Thank God Yorkie's not here. This episode fueled, and it's almost getting, it's 2:30, but it's getting time to start thinking about dinner. Maybe order up a pizza, a Gabriel pie, if you will. The official pizza of the Ottawa Senators and coming in hot. Download the Gabriel Pizza app to earn points with every order. Unlock exclusive deals through Gabriel Pizza Perks. Go to GabrielPizza.com. Check out the app for daily specials. And of course, they always have playoff specials going on. Gabriel Pizza, bigger, better Gabriel. And as always, our show is proudly presented to you by Bet365. Want to get on the action for Stanley Cup playoffs at Bet365? They got you. From game props to player props, totals, and the money line. You can even bet on futures like series winners, conference champions, and Stanley Cup champions, and much, much more. Whatever your bet, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Download the app and get in on the game. An official partner of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Must be 19 or older. Please play responsibly. Ontario only. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, visit connectsontario.ca. Here is, by the way, the pick for the Conn Smythe, which I'm going to get your opinion on. And, of course, the futures of the series winner between Florida and Edmonton. Edmonton right now is the odds-on favorite to make this happen. Don't answer. I'm going to ask you on Monday when Yorkie's back to make your picks of who you think will be the 2025 Stanley Cup champion. So I'm just curious, do you see a change in either Bobrovsky or Connor McDavid winning the Conn Smythe?
Ooh, do I say a change?
Well, they're the favorites, right? So for each team, they are the odds-on favorite to win. Do you think someone else?
I could see someone else slotting ahead of Bobrovsky, potentially.
Barkov is next on the list.
Yeah. If Florida wins, I guess it depends on who has a good series. I think Verhaeghe's been good too.
Yep.
Yeah, I think McDavid's been fantastic too. But yeah, I don't know. It's tough because Florida's had some injuries as well. Barkov, I could see sliding out. I guess it depends on how well they shut down. That's going to be the key. It's like, can you mitigate the offense from McDavid and Draisaitl? And if they do, I think that gives Barkov a huge edge, or maybe that'll just factor into Bobrovsky's numbers as well, and they'll just give it to him. I don't know. It's tough. That's a bit of a coin flip for me. I could see Barkov sliding in there though.
It'll be interesting. I was curious if it's just Connor McDavid for a second straight year, possibly, regardless of how it plays out. Finally, I want your opinion on the handshake line that has drawn so much attention because of Paul Maurice.
God, who cares?
Here's my thing about this. Fine, this is what you want to do, but your whole thing was, I don't want to distract from the players in the handshake line, but yet that's all this has become.
Boy, he's lecturing afterwards, and it's just
I love Paul Maurice. He'd probably be the coach I would pick if there was any coach to coach my hockey team at the moment. Just go in the line.
You're talking about an additional 2 minutes of being on the ice? Saying, hey, congratulations. Like, who cares?
So sometimes the player on the other team wants to hear from that coach say, hey, hell of a job playing in this series or whatever. Like, just shake the hand. I don't care that there's 3 other guys behind you or 4. It doesn't. Just shake your hand. At one point I was like, okay, I get it. It's fine. But the more I'm thinking about it, the more we talk about it, the bigger the distraction is and becomes about him as opposed to the players. Just shake the hand. Just go in the line.
Yeah, it's like the Streisand theory. It's like, just let it go. It's like once you start talking about it, saying what it should be, then it's just like you're spending the Barbara Streisand theory. Like, you talk about something more, you don't want to bring more attention to something, and then you mention it, and then it's like what Paul Maurice. It's like, don't bring more attention to the handshake line, and then that's all we're fucking talking about right now. It's just the handshake line. I
never heard of the Barbara Streisand theory, and we've never mentioned Barbara Streisand on the show before. So
congratulations, Wally. I'm happy to be the guy to do it. Hopefully I even got I think I got the reference right, but it's just like, you don't want to bring attention to something, but then you mention it and then it just blows up again,
The Streisand effect is an unintended consequence of attempts to hide, remove, or censor information where the effort instead increases public awareness of it. Wow.
Thanks, Jake.
Yeah. Never heard of it.
But we're just drawing attention to something where Paul just wants the attention on the players, and it's like it's having the wrong effect. I don't know. Maybe I'm using it wrong.
I just saw a great comment in our section. Hang on. Let's see. Gabe LaFrance. Fellas experiencing the Streisand theory about the Streisand theory.
That is fantastic.
Or Cedric, who says this is a strange rabbit hole. Yeah, no, I don't argue that whatsoever. Then there's Melina Farmer wants to know our thoughts on DeBoer's comments on Jake Ottinger.
Oh, that's brutal. Like 7 games, like you just lost. Like, obviously it's emotional, right? You just lost a massive series, and it's obviously there's emotions to play into. Maybe he wasn't thinking clearly, and you just hung your goalie at the dry over a 7-game sample, and it's just like, why risk alienating a player over something like that? And I don't know.
Is he alienated? You embarrassed him.
100%. You embarrassed your number 1 goalie.
Okay, but this isn't Adam hockey. This is the National Hockey League. You are a professional. And he didn't feel you were doing the job as you allowed 2 goals on 2 shots, whatever. Does he want to spark? I don't know. But clearly, here's the thing. Clearly something had set him off before this game, and he was on a short leash, if you will. Like Pete DeBoer wasn't going to waste any time, if you will. I don't know if I agree with it, because I think you might as well take the guy who got you there. Like, at this point,
like Casey, we can all agree that Casey DeSmith is not the guy. He
could be. He could come in and shut it down. Like,
maybe
that could happen.
It is
but
hockey,
chances are it's not.
But like, you risk alienating your number 1 goaltender who plays on an international stage. Like, he's not like some scrub. You risk alienating that guy and possibly leading to a divorce. Maybe you ask for a trade in the offseason because he doesn't want to play for the coach anymore. Does he lose respect within the room itself with his teammates and everything else? Like, there's so many different layers to that, Wally.
No, the players will be fine. They know who Jake Ottinger. Yeah, there will be no issue. It shouldn't have become as big an issue as it was. Pete should have just Pete, like we're on a first name basis. Peter DeBoer should probably have just said, we was looking for a spark, and that's why I made the change. Something, but he went on, and that would have been the only thing I would have stopped. Now, here's the argument. We always say we want to hear more from athletes, coaches, management. And when we do, then we hammer them for it.
Yeah. But what does Peter DeBoer want? Like, he's just a guy who's fallen short of expectations at every step of his career. He's had some very good teams, but they've never won anything. So, I mean, like, if we're going to talk about sample sizes, like, glass houses, don't throw stones. Like, I don't know. I just don't agree with, I just disagree with putting your number 1 goaltender, embarrassing him publicly like that after an emotional series. It's just like, if you say, hey, I wish we just didn't get the saves early. I was just trying to, like, I think you could phrase it a lot better. Just don't hang your goalie publicly. Just say, we needed some saves early. I thought this would give our group a shake up, and that's what. Yeah. I think there's just better, more professional ways to do it than just to hang your goalie in front of the world.
But we ask for that. We demand it, and when we get it, we get pissed. We can't have it both ways.
To me, I just don't find it. I don't find his comments that colorful. I think it's just a pretty shitty thing to do. I don't know, personally. I want insight. If you give me like a lot of insight and introspection and like, just don't. Nobody wants short answers that don't explain anything. But like, if you have a candid coach who gives you explanations, like Paul Maurice is fantastic at it. And I don't think you'd ever see Paul Maurice. Yeah, and John Cooper. I don't think you'd ever see those coaches do what he did. And I don't know if it was just the moment that got to him, the frustrations, everything else.
I think it's the moment.
I thought it was a really crappy thing to do.
I think it's the moment. And maybe that's why he hasn't won, is because the moment becomes too big. Maybe. It's too bad. Dallas is a hell of a team. I'm not sure what the hurdle is. Edmonton was a hell of a team though too.
It's tough to win. Like there's only one team that could, like, even only Edmonton, one. Like Florida could win this Stanley Cup, and you won't be talking about Edmonton 5 years from now saying like how close they got. They're just like, oh, they came up short again. And you can go down the laundry list of like great teams, the Ottawa Senators in the early 2000s being one of them, and Vancouver after that. It's like there have been some San Jose. There have been some unbelievably talented teams over the last 25 years that should have theoretically been able to win a cup that just haven't, because the teams that they played against were just excellent teams as well. And that's better. That's sports. It's just, you got to be good. You got to be lucky, and everything kind of has to go your way. It just has to be that perfect, like melting pot of I don't know what you want to call it, but it's just got to be the right melting pot for you to win. And that's just the nature of the sport. It's really, really hard to win. I think at times we're all guilty of saying, hey, this player didn't win anything, or this team didn't win anything. And the reality is it's really, really difficult with the parity and everything else that goes into it. It's just, it's hard. It's not easy.
Agreed. This show's not easy either. So
you should get an award. Just, you can't throw it out.
I'm going to regret this. By the way, as I would go back to, I started cleaning out stuff. I have found things to give away. So next week we're going to start giving away things on the show. Like I found some signed Mike Fisher posters. Get some Sens stuff that we're going to give away. There's I have a Wayne Gretzky print. Some retro swag. Nice. Yeah. So we're going to start doing that. Sweet. The Sens Summer Series rolls on. We have a big guest for Thursday already lined up. Former Ottawa Senator who we haven't heard from. And then, no, Michael Gribben, I'm not giving away the old awards. They're gone. Never mind.
It's time for the weekend, Wally. It's time for the weekend.
It is. We have some other stuff we will give away stuff. I have a whole thing of towels. Anyway, we'll see if you guys want them.
Dish towels?
No, like playoff towels.
I know. It was a facetious comment.
I've had that's another minus 10 points for you.
Yes.
See everybody on Monday. Have a great weekend. Thanks for stopping by.
Thanks for tuning in to Coming In Hot. If you enjoyed the show, hit that like button and be sure to subscribe to never miss an episode.